When you're ready to start designing your engraving profile or your woodshop project, you're going to need to select to either work in VCarve Pro or in Partworks. The difference between the two programs is that VCarve Pro can output to multiple machines to include our Haas CNC machines in the metals class. Partworks can only output to the ShopBot, which is the CNC router in the woods class. So if you're working with the ShopBot, you need to go ahead and select Partworks 3.5 up here. Not Partworks 3D, that's for more advanced operations that we won't get into. If you're going to be working in the CNC machines in the machine shop, you need to go ahead and select VCarve Pro, which is what I'm going to do for this tutorial. Once I double click it, it's going to open up VCarve Pro and it's going to ask me to register. I'm just going to go ahead and cancel that. On my left hand side, I can see there's a couple of different options in my startup tasks. I can either select to create a new file, open an existing file, or if I've been working on something, I'll see a list of my recently opened files and I can just directly edit by clicking on there. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to create a new file. Once you create a new file on the right hand side, you're going to see a work pane or a work view window. And what that does for us is allows us to design and see our designs and preview our designs while we're working with the program rather than writing the code longhand, which some of you may be used to. On the left hand side, you're going to see the job setup pane. You can see the size, you can see where we set our width of our material, the height of our material, as well as where our z-axis is 0 or where our tool is referencing the depth of and the thickness of the material. So the first thing I want to do is set the size of the material I'm going to be working with. If you see that I changed this 3 to a 5, you're going to end up seeing that my work pane over here on the right changes from 3 to 5 inches wide. I'm going to go ahead and set back that to 3 inches because for this project I want to have a 3 inch by 3 inch square piece of material. So we can see on here that 3 inches by 3 inches square is what I'm going to be working with. My Z0 is where I'm going to be referencing all of my depths from. For pretty much all of what we'll be doing, you're always going to reference your Z0 off the top of the part. Rarely will you make sure that you're selected on the bottom radio button, which would allow you to reference all of your depths from the top or from the top of the table or the bottom of the part. Just verify that the top is selected. We're going to set our thickness to the desired thickness of our actual part. If I change it to 0.75, the thickness of my material will be interpreted as 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to be working with 1/2 inch stock, so I'm going to keep it at 0.5 inches. My XY origin position is the next thing I need to be concerned with. This is where I reference all of my locations in the X and Y directions with the program. Right now I'm set in the middle, which over on the right side in the pane you can see that my crosshair is right in the middle, and if we look up at the top at our scales or at our rulers, our 0 is in the middle for X and our 0 is in the middle for Y. We can also set that to the bottom left hand corner. At that point you would see my 0 change from to the bottom edge as well as the left edge. I can change it to the bottom right hand corner, and the same thing, the 0 changes to the bottom right hand corner. Bottom left hand corner or upper left hand corner would do the same thing. However, for the purpose of this program, I want to have it set at the center. All of my left and right or XY dimensions will be based off the center of the workpiece. My origin offset I'm not going to use. My data scaling I'm not going to use. My units I'm going to verify to be in inches unless I specifically know I want to work in millimeters if that's the plans I have. But for the most part, we're going to be working in inches. Once you've set the size of your workpiece, set where you want your Z0, set the thickness of your material, told the program where to interpret all of its X and Y locations by setting the origin, as well as verified that you're working in inches, you can go ahead and select OK. At this point, you're ready to start designing your project.